Let's see if these things work here.
They better. We paid enough for them. Hey, you mean? We spent enough for them. They better work.
That was your Zell just going off.
Zell me mine.
As you can see by
lower third.
the hashtag over that way. Yeah.
Start here. Read that way.
Wood, suave. There it is.
Tree wiggle wig.
Yeah. Amen. Today is, don't even matter what day today is. Actually, it kind of does.
Do you know what today?
Just for the purposes of the conversation, today is Saturday, November the 18th. Yeah, my Lord.
Yeah, my Lord.
I said, yeah, my Lord.
Yeah, my Lord.
20 and 20. Sweet.
Wiggle wig, convenient. Bring me your dinner bucket.
Let the church say.
Amen.
So tonight we have AEW Full Gear emanating from.
We're gonna waste some money this evening.
Los Angeles, California. Actually Inglewood, California.
Yup.
In the forum, the Kia Forum. We also have in a week the Thanksgiving tradition that is Survivor Series.
Man, it ain't the Survivor Series I grew up with
at all.
It's Survivor Series nonetheless.
Like if you're going to change Survivor Series from being the traditional elimination style tag team matches, cool. Especially when you do it with war games.
But you don't eliminate anybody. There's no. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So you didn't know I was going to go here with it, but the reason why we started the way we did, and on the back end it seemed to be very abrupt, is the fact I have not one but two bones to pick about Survivor Series before we go into this week's news, because
bing, 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 on this episode of Choppin Wood.
Hey, we haven't done that since season 1.
You see? Aha.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing.
On the next episode we do is going to be a you know who ain't gonna win for Survivor Series. So, and typically we do a tournament this time of year, but there's been so many shows.
I wanted to do best Survivor Series of all time.
We were supposed to do that we said last year we were going to do it this year.
Facts.
I guess what we need to do is just go ahead, because now we have 53 weeks before the next episode. Before the next Survivor Series episode.
This is true. Well, here's the thing. Shout out to Trips.
What's up,
Here's the thing. It's like 40% of the roster is occupied between two matches. So why who ain't gonna win ain't really gonna take that long. 40% of the roster is on two matches on this card.
All right, so let's talk about that. First and foremost,
Choppin Wood.
The first bone I have to pick is the fact that you've already taken the roof off of the War Games, the match beyond, the creation of the American Dream, if you will. That's the rose.
It's a filming aesthetic. You know what that
is.
It
is. It makes it easier for a number of different things. You get better spots. You get better angles. You get
more dangerous spots because somebody's going to do a dive off the top of it. But yeah,
you get the WWE spit shine on an NWA classic. Not bad. Not bad.
Regardless of what's mixed in with that saliva, but yeah, spit shine.
Not bad. But if you're going to put it in Survivor Series, I'm with you, Suave. Even though it takes 20 minutes to start the match. Is that about right?
See, that's the thing. You can't do that and eliminations. You got to pick a poison.
But you could, because once the match starts, the match is only about 20 minutes long.
It take about an hour and a half.
Not necessarily.
So you got entrances, which in WWE is a 20-minute thing. Then you've got the fight periods where everybody's locked in the cages and they're coming in one at a time for each team. Then everybody
is it 5-minute intervals?
3, 5, whatever they come up with.
Okay, we'll say it's 5, just for
Okay, so that's another 20 minutes to get every team in.
Right.
So that's 40 minutes, and you've been kind of working solo. Then you get in there, and then they want to see everybody fight. So you at least another 20 for that, at least.
All right. So let me pull this up real quick. I actually have to do this way, which I
you want to pull up match times from last year?
I can just do random. So I can do. We'll do last year as a benchmark, and then we'll even go back. Let's see here. War Games matches.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee you it ended up being like an hour and a half. If you added eliminations on top of everything else that goes into WWE's version of War Games, we're talking an hour and a half, one match. Can't do it. This is not 2006 Ring of Honor. We can't do that. People aren't staying for that. I don't care who's in the match.
The Great American Bash was usually the pay-per-view where we got the War Games match, correct? And mostly
until they came up with Fall Brawl, which ended up being where War Games happened. But yeah, it started Great American Bash. Then you had it Wrestle War like 2 years. And then by the time you get to, I want to say 93, it's a Fall Brawl thing for the rest of its existence in WCW.
All right. So yeah, here we go. This is 1987. Oh, that's that's the one I was looking for is 87, but I can't find it. 88 pulled up and I forgot that was a Tower of Doom.
No, sir.
Not it.
No, sir. Here. Yeah, up until 90, it's
War Games. All right, 1989 was the Road Warriors, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, and then Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Don't do that one. If you're gonna start with a War Games,
no. I'm just using. We're just looking for times. No other reason.
Even with the times on that one, that one's that's a meh.
Okay, give me one to pull up.
92 Wrestle War 92.
All right,
that's the Dangerous Alliance versus Sting Squadron.
Wrestle War 92. Okay.
Largely regarded as one of the greatest War Game matches of all time.
This ain't much different. So Sting Squadron consisted of Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, and Nikita Koloff, taking on the Dangerous Alliance of Ravishing Rick Rude, Stunning Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at that. Man, you got two of the greatest singles competitors of all time and three of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. Anyway, and a former and 1, 2 three, if you include Rick Rude, 3 world champions. And so that match lasted 23 minutes and 27 seconds. Now, that's not the total match time. That's from the time that they actually ring the bell, which is when the last competitor comes into the cage.
I think you miscounted on world champions.
Who?
Steamboat, Sting.
No, I'm talking about on the Dangerous Alliance alone.
Oh,
my bad.
I was gonna say I
was just looking at the Dangerous Alliance.
Gotcha. Match time.
23-27. Survivor Series 2022. Let's see here. That one. Eesh. Well, I don't know how they're measuring the time on this one.
They're probably going from bell to bell. They're not counting
finishes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because the women's match. You think they went 40 minutes?
Yep.
Okay. And the men's match was actually shorter than the women's match by a minute.
Sounds about right. If they're counting from the announcement, from the opening bell, from the time the first 2 people start. Sounds about right.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. But that's so if you add 20 more minutes to each match,
you're gonna kill it. You're going to.
So you're saying no go to the elimination aspect of War Games?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't want it. No.
Okay. So I'll fall off that horse. I'll take that one for the team. Here's here, child.
Yeah.
Here's my other angle.
Okay.
You start SmackDown with a haphazard explanation of how damage control expanded. So
You realize this just happened a week ago. It ain't exactly like they have a whole lot of tread.
no, listen, we're in the same car. Fasten your seatbelt. Roll your window down if you get hot. Uh,
Right.
the the Bailey situation is going to go left. How and when, we don't know, but it's going to go left. It started. The seeds were planted last week at or 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago or last week? We had Saturday afternoon wrestling, the Crown Jewel.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Something like that.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So the seeds were planted there, and you kind of had some excitement last week with Asuka flipping the script, and then this week you have the explanation. So there's some seeds being planted. You have Chick Flair, Bianca Belair, and they both have vested interest in going against Damage Control. Shotzi, it can be argued that she does have vested interest because of the things that Damage Control has done to her, and the fact she's always around Chick Flair and Bianca Belair when these things happen.
Bailey cut that woman's hair. Yeah, Bailey faded her up. So yeah, I would think she has some vested interest.
But now you got to find somebody else to join up to help fight because you're outnumbered.
Right.
You take out Mi Chin.
Right.
You take out an already emotionally damaged and scarred Zelina Vega.
All people they've interacted with before, but at the same time, it's setting a narrative.
So you because y'all need help, Damage Control destroys the entire women's division. And you tease this phone call. Now, anybody with half a brain knows who the phone call was to. But what doesn't make sense to me is, how is it okay to jump from Monday to Friday to help somebody that used to be your best friend fight somebody else who used to be your best friend? It doesn't make any sense to relax the you stay on your brand caveat just because the faction who has the most people in war games destroyed everybody else who can help you. Now, to me, people ain't gonna like this. This would have been the proper introduction for Jade Cargill because A, it's on pay-per-view. It's one of the big five now. And you don't have to use her again until Royal Rumble. You don't even you can show her in vignettes and she could be like a Brock Lesnar type of attraction. You don't have to even show her again until she's a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. You already know she's in the E. So what's to stop it from breaking glass on this one when there's she hasn't signed to any particular brand?
Number one, she hasn't signed to any particular brand. So that by itself is a story point that you don't want to just leapfrog. If all three brands under the WWE universe are all vying for her services, that by itself is a month's worth of TV. Just making the decision, because they still haven't been wooing her. So if you want an example, go back to when MVP first debuted.
Yep.
And they were figuring out where he was going to be. Two, where did Jade Cargill come from?
Jacksonville, land of opportunity.
Right, the land of opportunity in
Promised land. Shouts out to the Petty Messiah.
Promised land has bikes. So, would you say that she is a finely tuned, polished in-ring competitor.
I've spoken my ills about her ad nauseum. I love seeing her on TV. She's got to get better though.
Right. Okay. So if that is your opinion, why would you put her in a double ring with a cage wrapped around it with 7 other people that she's going to have to navigate? And that's her first time on WWE television.
Because you can protect her in that environment if you bring her out last.
Do you realize they couldn't protect Roman Reigns last year in that environment, and he's almost a 15-year vet? He came out of that match hurt.
True.
They're
saying that match, the Elimination Chamber, and Hell in a Cell are the 3 most dangerous matches in pro wrestling.
So we're going to take somebody who hasn't had day one on the job under this new regime and put them in the most difficult of all environments to succeed in and say, yes, let's do that for our entertainment. No. At this point, I just want people to be a little more patient about some of these requests. Because I see the booking, like if we were doing this video game style, yeah. Jade Cargill is the 4th. She shows up. She fights a little bit. Something doesn't go her way. She leaves. And then that way the baby faces take the L. Damage control stays strong. And now Jade Cargill has 3 new opponents. Totally understand it. Makes absolute great sense. However, I'm concerned about Shotzi in this particular environment. If we keeping it G, I'm concerned about Chick Flair in this environment, not because she's not experienced, but because she is a hothead. And did you see the ending to SmackDown last night?
Number 1, yes. Number 2, how many times have we talked about the Flair liberties, the Chick Flair liberties?
They ain't gonna stop.
It's a thing. It is a real. I am not a conspiracy theorist. You can go back and look. You can go back to when Ric Flair was her corner, and she was going in. Go to YouTube, look for Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw.
Making my case. you making my case as you say this. It just look, that's a powder keg situation. Let's do the smart, responsible thing.
My bad.
And take the former WrestleMania main eventer / women's champion umpteen times over. Let's put Becky Lynch here. Let's play on the horsewomen vibe. Let's keep moving in that direction, because while yes, it would be an awesome time to debut Jade Cargill and start the push towards WrestleMania, we don't have to rush that. We know that's coming.
What?
Nah, man. nah. I'm not gonna let you.
Right.
I'm not gonna let the world. You saw the end of SmackDown, and all of those people been there. And if you didn't see the end of SmackDown, go watch the end of SmackDown. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
And Bianca Belair, you think Bianca Belair is the queen of wanting to get her lick back? She just talks that talk.
Say, listen, if
like
she'll
get her professional lick back. Great. Chick Flair? If I didn't know any better, I swear she could really fight.
Let you not. No, we saw that too. That same Nia Jax video, we saw that too.
It's like Goldberg. No, that Goldberg. It's like Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. Slow your big ass down.
Yeah. Chill, my boy. Yeah. It's that energy, that vibe. So these are all like tenured professionals who were involved in that ending segment for SmackDown. So throwing someone into that environment who has never worked with those people, I think we can do better by her. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So what's the rest of the bones that you have to pick about Survivor Series?
That was it. That was the main one. I had to. Okay. Somebody need to talk me up that ledge because I was about to jump over what I saw on SmackDown last night.
Well, luckily
I'm just not a fan of. I think I'm over Becky.
she's needed something new for a while. And here again, Uncle Trips. Here's the thing. You know how when you find something that works, you do it until it doesn't work, and then you find something else to do. Most of the time, you don't go back to the first iteration until much later. So you've seen the Undertaker. There's gray gloves Undertaker. There's purple gloves Undertaker. There's teardrop Undertaker. There's Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. There's American Badass Undertaker.
I never understood the teardrop, bro. I never understood the teardrop.
96 was a wild time, bro. 96 was like, a wild time.
Not you were easier to do that in 91 and 92 when Nails was around. 96 continues.
Hey, look, 96 was a little more edgy and people started see that the whole teardrop.
Wait. Who did he bury in 96?
Mankind.
It was Mankind and himself, right?
He eventually buries Mankind, I believe, at the pay-per-view before Survivor Series 96. He gets buried alive, and then he comes back. That's his rebirth.
Was that with the teardrop when he came back the second?
Yeah. Okay. He had all black leather, a teardrop, and he dyed his hair kind of like a funky reddish color. Yeah. But what I mean by that, I say all that to say this. Becky Lynch had figured out how to get through with the man character and doing it in sort of a Stone Cold Steve Austin-esque presentation. We had gotten to a point where the world lined up perfectly for her to take a break before it got too bad. So it's like you have the pandemic, then she becomes a mother, so she gets an extended period away from television so that particular iteration doesn't burn itself out.
I think she had the best pandemic ever. Because like people like Drew, Hikaru Shida, not so much.
yeah, they had a far different pandemic. But when Becky comes back, we're thinking this is gonna go this way. It doesn't. We're happy to see her. We get the squash of Bianca Belair, gives us something to hate. Then we get Big Time Bex. To be perfectly honest with you, Big Time Bex is even more entertaining than the man.
Agreed. Like, no cap. And I don't have to have them as a couple. I don't have to have them as a thing. But give me Big Time Bex and Drip God Seth freaking Rollins at the same time.
Okay. So to piggyback off of that. So you got to the end of the Big Time Bex story arc, so to speak, to where she's going back face. So going back face, instead of creating a new iteration, she decided, let's go back to being the man. Well, it ain't playing the same because the same energy ain't on it.
She re-recorded the songs,
digitally remastered, and it didn't work because LA Knight is occupying that space right now, and
he's wearing out his welcome.
It's cosplay-ish in some levels, but that you can't occupy that space if it's not organic. And at this point, Becky's been up long enough to where it doesn't feel or seem organic, unless you give her something interesting to do, which they really haven't since Bianca. So now you're at a point where it's like, okay, she went and tried to revive NXT, which is quite admirable on her part.
Bro, let me do that because
like kudos to using your star power.
Her and Dom, they're doing the Lord's work in NXT.
Right, Dom just getting his face in more places, and Becky's like Becky's raising the stock and Dom's raising his stock. Two different approaches, but
Dom will be world champion in 5 years. Watch.
That's a fair assessment. But yeah, we're at a holding pattern with Becky right now because there's nothing really to do, and she fits. Who else were you gonna put in that spot? I know you said Jade Cargill. We just explained why not, but who else? Who else is available?
That's the other problem. You've already killed the rest of SmackDown. If you remove Becky Lynch from the equation, you take Jade Cargill from the equation. Who do you put in that spot? Who else has beef with anybody in Damage Control? The answer is basically nobody. Nobody.
I'll tell you, they don't even have to fit the narrative of having beef with Damage Control. Who else is a bigger name? Like, what name would you put in that space, whether they be from Raw or SmackDown? What woman would you put in that space?
You have the biggest names in your company in that match.
I'm looking, yeah, exactly. I'm looking
now.
The
only other people that you and these names don't make any sense. The only other people that you could put in there with Tread would be like Tamina, who's been MIA, Natty, who's been, she needs to be MIA.
Alexa Nia Jax enjoying motherhood. That
you're definitely not putting Rhea Ripley in there. Like she doesn't even need to be in multi-person matches anymore. She's hate me for saying this, but pencil pushers. Rhea Ripley, if she decided to flip and go to a tribal chief status, here's your daily acknowledgement. If she decides to flip and go to her tribal chief bag and decide to make appearances once a quarter or defenses once a quarter, guess what? She can do it at this point. She's proven herself. Are you going through the roster right now?
I am. First answer that remotely came to my mind as somebody that might work was B-Fab.
Nope.
I mean, if you want to elevate somebody, you elevating Shotzi.
Okay, so you're putting her as the final addition, and both of her, one guy got fired, the other guy got.
I did not say it was good. Before you go through all of that, did not say this was a good option. I said it was the
Did
option.
You notice that she's the one person on the roster that did not get hurt last night, and the one person I also did not see because she's too busy spooning up to Bobby Lashley?
Well, maybe Bobby tapped her on the shoulder, said, "Come sit over here, stay away from all that."
Well, she was begging for Bobby's attention, and she got it.
Everybody chill. The way you're saying this, I want you to
take it how you will. You got to follow me. Take it up with management.
Just adjust the dial. We're gonna get canceled. I'm scrolling. Where is Liv Morgan?
Hurt.
Still? How bad?
Bad enough to be on Instagram with alcoholic beverages in the swimming pool yesterday.
Well, that means you're probably not on painkillers anymore. Get well soon, Liv. I did not realize she was hurt. Listen, that is not for me to comment on. It's not it's none of my business. Get well soon. I'm scrolling. I'm looking. I ain't seeing nothing. You could have debuted Nikita Lyons. Well, she medically cleared.
Who, Nikita?
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I don't like her I like her less in War Games than I do Jade Cargill.
Well, I'm scrolling and I don't. Yeah, it ain't looking good. Sonya Deville, Tegan Knox, but Dakota Kai's not gonna actually be in the match, so that doesn't line up like you would like it to. I mean, you could have called one of the old heads. You could have called Lita or Trish.
So Lita is back in NXT.
Is she?
To my knowledge, like they have some kind of like tournament that's popping off.
Oh, one of those breakout tournaments.
Well, the breakout's going on, but it was something where like I remember last year they did this too, where the backstage brass at NXT were making matches as part of like I forgot what it's called, man. I don't watch enough of the Skittle to go into detail.
I certainly don't. I paid my debt, but
now Trish coming back and joining with Chick Flair, like viable?
her and Trish Stratus and Flair don't have any current standing beef. Their beef was from a match they had, what, 2-3 years ago? So they don't have an issue that would keep them from being keep them from being teammates in this scenario. And you're low, as we've just seen. We went through the roster. You're low on options.
Iron Survivor is what it's called.
Okay.
It's a concept they have where they have different people create matches for people to be interested into what's called an Iron Survivor. And I think Mick Foley is involved, Lita's involved.
Mick is back involved with something going on in Stanford. I thought that was done for.
His name popped up, so I don't know how deep it goes.
I mean, just Mick has been very outspoken on his wrestling opinion, which I don't have any problem with. It's just, it's a lot of it comes at the slight of WWE. So I figured, how they are when you're not flying the company flag.
So I guess now's a good time to actually pull this up and take a look and see what's really going on. NXT Iron Survivor. All right, so the Iron Survivor Challenge. There are 5 competitors that enter at different times. Whoever has the most falls within that one time limit is the winner. So it's almost like an Iron Man, but it's like a Survivor Series, like a challenge.
It's a content creator.
Yeah,
it's something where you can file away that portion of the roster that doesn't have an active storyline and give them something with meaning to do. I wish they would do that on Mondays more.
Yeah. So far, it's going to be 5 women in the match, and so far it's Lash Legend and Tiffany Stratton with 3 others to come. And on the men's side, so far you have Dijak and Trick Williams with 3 others to come. And I guess the matches are going to be held on Saturday, December 9th. Yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
I said, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
20 and 23.
Wiggle weed convenient. Yeah, put it in a change jar.
All that.
Sock it to my pocket because I'm something like a.
And that's at NXT Deadline. So there's that. All right, so that's out the way. I like where you're going with that, but I just, considering the way Trish left, nah.
Look, obviously we see we don't have a lot of options, so Becky fills a need. She's the biggest for 2023. She's the biggest name of everybody we named.
I mean, I kind of like it.
She's active. She's a full-time competitor. Like, hey, right. But that was the whole thing where we were having the conversation like, do we even get a women's war games? And you basically just forced one.
Exactly. And that's my point. If you have to force it, you don't need it.
I think you would have gotten the same level of drama, intrigue, and story if you had just done a traditional 4-on-4 Survivor Series match.
Which would have been fire considering it's Survivor Series.
Do we even have one booked? Is there a tradition? And there's my bone to pick.
And if we get one, I'm almost willing to bet it'll be hot shotted on the pre-show.
Oh, it's gonna be undercarded as hell. It's gonna be super undercarded.
Super undercarded.
That's my bone to pick. See, because what we're doing now, it's Survivor Series in name only. It is not Survivor Series in concept.
This ain't your mama's Survivor Series.
Yeah, not in application, not concept, not execution,
not location.
I don't like it.
Oh, actually, it is in location. Which, honestly, that might be the biggest saving grace about this year's Survivor Series is that it's in a historic Survivor Series city.
What it is?
Chicago.
What about Chicago?
It's a historic city for Survivor Series.
Is it? Is it?
Let's see here.
What happened in Chicago for Survivor Series? Or a Survivor Series?
Let's see here. Survivor Series Chicago. Let's see here.
I'm ready to learn something here.
I want to say that arena was probably Rosemont. 89. Yeah, so the Rosemont Horizon hosted Survivor Series in 89.
Okay, I remember '89. That was where
And,
Hogan played dead on the apron for like 45 minutes.
Dream Team versus the Enforcers. King's Court versus the 4x4s. Hulkamaniacs versus the $1 Million Dream Team or $1 Million Team. The Rude Brew versus Roddy's Rowdies. The Ultimate Warriors versus the Heyman Family.
Mm.
So, but yeah, that was.
So that's the year with '89. So that's the year Hogan, Jake, and Demolition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about where Hogan, like Zeus snaps Hogan's neck like at the beginning of the match, and yeah, he does the wrench thing. He does like 2 or 3 times, and then Hogan literally is laying in the corner playing dead for a hot 20. What feels like for I'm exaggerating saying 45 minutes, but he played dead for a while.
I'm looking to see how long that match was.
He let Jake get the bejesus beat out of him. They kicked the scales off his boots.
47 minutes and that was the longest match of the other night.
Right. So I guarantee you, if it was 27 minutes, Hogan played dead for at least 10. I'm willing to say 15, but I know for a fact at least 10 minutes he laid there. Then got up and did the Superman routine and sent everybody home happy because because Hogan must pose. So yeah, you got to give me something else for Chicago. Like that one don't get it for me.
Let's see here. Let me think here. I think I have one here.
See, the fact that it's taking us so long to find one tells you everything you need to know. So maybe this one coming up will be the one we remember that happened in Chicago. Why would that be?
Which very well there. Lots of intrigue,
speculation.
That's a good one. We don't deal
with accusations.
Put up with accusations, and most definitely not false accusations.
No one uses that.
Half the world say he's gonna be there, other half say he's not gonna be there, and it's another half that just hope he don't.
You know when we're gonna find out? We'll be a lot closer to that tonight. AEW is in Inglewood, and you and I are trying to figure out who the devil is.
Keep the devil off. Keep the devil off. Keep the devil off. Shout out to Big Crit. Yeah, so at some point we do have to find out in AEW who the devil is. There is a laundry list of options, and the internet is ablaze with speculation and conjecture about who the devil may be.
To paraphrase what you said earlier before we started recording, devil was the case that they gave me. Devil was the case that they gave me.
Shout out to Snoop.
Snoop giving up smoking herb.
I don't know what the reasoning is, but whatever the reasoning is,
it doesn't matter, Suave. People are reading far too much into this.
Of course they are.
Giving up smoke. We eat daily.
It's more than one way to skin a cat.
Boy, 2 wrongs don't make it right, and 3 rights do make a left.
All of that. So, yeah, we got to figure out who the devil gonna be. So we're gonna put together a mixtape real quick of who the devil could be.
So before we do that,
okay,
let me throw 4 names out there for you real quick, simply because we haven't covered this. Make it 5 names, and they kind of fit. 2 of them kind of fit into this whole MO.
Okay.
MLW has had about at least 4 people ask for their releases over the last couple of months.
Abandoned ship.
Those people are Juicy Finau, Lance Noie. Yes, of that Noie family, the only one that you know.
Same gang.
Ades and Alex Hammerstone, former MLW National Openweight Champion, former MLW World Champion, former member of Dynastic.
So let me first start by saying, number one, you can't mistake Juicy Fatu for anybody. I'm gonna say the same would be for Lance Anoa'i, just based on height. I'll even say this for Hammerstone. While he would be absolutely perfect because of the synergy and the connection to Max, you can't hide him in all black. This is the same thing I said.
You not only can you not hide him in all black, if you tried to, the only people who match up with him size-wise would be people like Hobbs, who are about half a foot taller than him.
Hobbs looks like two of Hammerstone right now. Now, I need to see them standing next to each other to gauge, pause. But right now, Hobbs looks like he's growing another Hobbs.
I'm nowhere near muscular, never have been. The most I've ever been is like tone and fit. But I'm 6'2", 270 currently. I stood next to Hammerstone. That man's wider than me. That's a big boy. You
How
would
tall
notice
is he though?
About 5'9", 5'10".
Okay. So you remember when the Devil Mask first came out and people jumped to like this ridiculous conclusion that it was Edge just because they wanted it to be Edge. And I'm like,
and now he's here.
I'm like, no, but you remember what I said? I said Edge is 6'5". Edge is the same size as Luchasaurus.
Edge is one of the few wrestlers on the WWE roster that can stand and look eye to eye with Randy Orton.
Bing bong. So when you're making these guesses, and this is for the pencil pushers in attendance right now, when you're making these guesses about who's under the devil mask, as well as who are these extra henchmen, body composition matters. Now, in this last one where Bowens got thrown through the plate glass window like Marty Jannetty, one of those guys looks to be a little larger than the other people, but
no definition, growth.
There's one that looks like there's some definition and it's slight, but everybody involved in this seems to be short, and that's the thing that's killing it. Everybody seems short.
I saw a couple that didn't look short; they just looked slim.
Yeah, I've seen the slim one. I'm under the impression that whoever's been wearing the devil mask that's not been the same person every time, but they're similar enough in height and size that when they put the mask on, it just all seems like the same person.
I think it's the same person that's doing it because it's probably the same vignette. Like they probably shot all those.
They shot them all together.
Yeah.
Play number 4. Okay, cool. So at this point, let's make this list. Who do you think it could be?
All right. Number 1 on my list right now, Richard Holiday.
Okay.
Richard Holiday has been gone from MLW. He showed up at GCW, and we know that there's a loose connection with GCW and AEW. He has a vested interest with Max, and he's better as a heel than he is as a face. Naturally, as a baby face, it's because he beat cancer. I mean, shout. Let's
run it up.
I can't overstate that enough. The man beat cancer. But one thing a true to life, natural born heel will do is anything they can to make them hate you more. And if Max is claiming that he's the devil, he's our scumbag, the only thing that could make a devil worse is a bigger devil. Richard Holiday could fit that if he shows up and either costs Max the title or lets Max win and then attacks him after the match for the debut.
Okay. Give me Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks fits the body composition. He fits. He fits. They need something to do, and you got to make it up to the man from what happened with CM Punk. Like at some point, you have to put him in a position to make something before he decides to make an exit. So,
I wonder when his contract is up. I think it's soon.
I'd be willing to guess if he's been there from day one. AEW's what, 4.5 or almost 5 years old?
It'll be 5 in October. In terms of TV, it'll be 5 in October, 5 in May for the company.
And a lot of those original contracts are already coming up for
and mind you,
renewed.
Ricky Starks wasn't all elite when it started. He was just on TV. He was an NWA talent at the time.
So he's either under a 3-year or a 5-year deal.
And everybody likes odd numbers around. I don't know. No one signs a 2-year deal, so no one signs a 4-year deal.
I don't know. I guess they figured that first year is just to get your feet wet, and then you got 2 more to figure out if you're gonna be somebody.
Well, Dion got 5 years.
Who?
Dion, Coach Prime.
Well, they knew he was somebody when he got there.
Right. First year's is red shirt.
We just want to know how fast can you turn this around. Ricky Starks was in we think he might be okay. So let's see how it goes. We'll give him 3 instead of 5.
He drank his own rocket fuel. The problem was they were giving him gasoline.
Bing bong. So I got Ricky Starks as a potential devil.
So far, we got 6 possibles.
I mean, of course, then the all-time quarterback favorites from the internet, Jack Perry and CM Punk.
Yeah, so let's make that. My next one was going to be CM Punk. Jack Perry.
He's still signed.
What a letdown.
How did he let you down? What did you expect? Where was your expectation that he let you down?
Not that he let me down. It would be a letdown if he comes out there and ends the show and takes off the devil mask. I think they're better off bringing, if it's Jack Perry, they're better off bringing the devil out to end the show in the middle of the ring, standing on top of Max, win, lose, or draw, and then fading to black and then removing the mask on Wednesday.
You do realize that because of something that happened that broke, it shifted the internet last night. There's no way you'd make it to Wednesday. There's no way he can take the mask off in the building at all. Because it wouldn't make it to Wednesday.
Right.
It would be on the internet immediately. So
and the dope thing about that mask, in fact, is it's a ski mask attached to it. So you couldn't tell if they had like a neck tattoo, what kind of hair they had, nothing, because everything is covered.
Right. You can't see if there's a ponytail back there. Like,
let me ask you this.
I want this to be good. I do. I really do. But we're starting to spiral out of control.
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Do we talk about what happened last night?
I mean, why not?
Actually, yeah. I mean, by the time this airs, it would already been. It's already scattered anyway.
It was scattered before we hit record this morning.
And
Ronda Rousey was at Ring of Honor.
Backstage at Collision, but was debuted at Ring of Honor. Are we sharpshooting? Sure. I mean, they are shooting ROH TV differently than what they're shooting AEW television. AEW TV ends up on TBS and TNT. ROH TV ends up on Fight Club. ROH.com, YouTube. Um, and they still have championships that are in the hierarchy of Ring of Honor, even though they commingle talent. It's fine. Is this where the buck stops? Is this Tony Khan announced that tonight on the pre-show for Full Gear, a major free agent talent that all of AEW fans respect will be announced as signing to AEW? Or was it just signing, period?
So the way I read the tweet, and I thought it was supposed to happen on Dynamite, that it was a talent that all of AEW would respect. And I'm like, immediately I thought, okay, what's the most lackluster signing possible?
The most lackluster signing possible will be Bill Goldberg.
Every time I start talking about boxing. Rocky Marciano. So I thought it was going to be Kota Ibushi, to be perfectly honest with you. I was like, okay, he's finally signed Kota. Kota's full-time. He's going to be in America for the foreseeable future. Kenny has his riding buddy. I mean, we're too early for any of the last talent cuts from WWE, right?
What's that?
We're too early for any of the talent cuts from WWE, right?
Unless there were buyouts,
which you would have heard about. Like anytime money changes hands,
I'm not so sure we would have heard about it, because the only ones that even matter really would have been Matt Riddle and Nick Nemeth.
See, if either of them had bought their way out of their deal, you'd have heard about it. You just would have. Like, okay, Nick Nemeth is currently out doing stand-up comedy. At every one of his stand-up comedy shows, which happen to like completely sync up with AEW's touring schedule, he's got AEW talent coming in doing cameos. That's as good as done, because I'm certain the money's already been offered. That's just securing financial stability. We know that's coming. Will it matter in the grand scheme of things? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're at a point where I don't necessarily think so. Is that something that you tout for the pre-show of a pay-per-view? Because remember when Jay Lethal signed, that was a during pay-per-view thing.
And pro wrestling stalwarts got more out of that than
we would have gotten.
Then we would have gotten with an announcement. Yeah.
We got a whole bunch of false hope out of that. And then we got 2 more debuts at the end of that same pay-per-view.
Major ones.
Major. So it's like it overshadowed the signing, and then, you know, the rest of life end up being what it's been. But speaking of which.
But no, so that Shivani had a live read, and I didn't recall if he said AEW signing or signing period. Because if it is signing period, it better not just stop at Ronda Rousey.
Look, bruh, put Adam Cole on the list while we,
there you go. There's another one.
That look, I feel like that was supposed to be the original the entire time. This ankle injury has gone on so long that it has blurred the line of work or shoot. We don't necessarily know if he broke his ankle for real or this has just been an elaborate work. I am under the impression that
happened in London, right?
No, it happened on Dynamite.
Was it the week after London? Because they defended the belts together in London, right?
Yeah, they did. It's after the Joe match. It's after MJF Joe won. It's somewhere right after that, like a 1-2 week span after Joe and MJF.
But I feel like it's been like it was September when that happened.
I mean, you can look it up. You can use Joe versus MJF as your barometer for where it happened. But
And then if
because he's still walking on two good legs for that.
and then if it's been 2 months, depending on if he had surgery now, which I don't think he did, 2 months is long enough to heal from an ankle injury.
It's a broken ankle. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I just don't think he ever broke his ankle to begin with. Like, the end of this story has always said
September 20th.
September 20th.
Two surgeries, 8 screws, and a plate.
I don't believe it. Have you seen anything on Instagram? Have you seen a walking boot, a cast, a post-surgery photo?
We saw him at Roddy Strong's house on a scooter that wasn't with a foot that wasn't protected.
Not AEW post-produced content.
This is what I'm saying. But even if it was broken, whether he was on a scooter or not, wouldn't he have some kind of like ankle protection on? At least some kind of like an air cast, a boot, something?
This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, you didn't get anything work or shoot wise that said this ankle was broken. To be perfectly honest, the vignettes make it seem like they're just making fun of everybody because he doesn't have anything on anyway.
And the only thing we're getting is just a longer beard every time.
Right. It's him doing the Skype call with Roddy in the game. Like, this for a long time, I felt like this was one of their better told stories, like, because there was some intrigue. You wanted to see how it was going to end. And I'm hoping that we're not watching this thing unravel before it gets to the finish line. There has to be another match with Adam Cole coming at some point. But Joe is also lobbying for another match.
Because Joe and Adam Cole is good business.
I've always followed this particular story as Adam Cole was basically making MJF overextend himself and the whole face run, so he'd be the fighting champion to the point where he would be in a compromised state whenever Adam Cole got his next opportunity, and then that's when the turn was going to happen. But again, this is Jacksonville, and sometimes they like to throw you the off-speed pitch.
Just a bit outside.
You feel me? So I feel like we could get something very good, but we have an equally yoked chance to get something terrible.
All right, so let's run it back. We have the MLW4. We have Richard Holiday, CM Punk, Jungle Buck, Jack Perry,
Ricky Starks,
Adam Cole, baby,
Bryan Danielson. Just because he fits the body composition. Just because.
I'm not mad at that. I just don't know if I like it.
I don't like it. It's just something that can fit. Pause.
And no, not, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe he fits the body composition, but this is that would be as bad as Mark Henry's lion ass salmon jacket.
I love that though.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best angles in wrestling history. It's one of the best swerves in wrestling history. What would have made it the best, or maybe number 2 behind Hogan, would have been if he actually beat Cena.
Do you know how many different angles would have changed drastically had they beat Cena? Nexus, the first iteration of Bray Wyatt. Who else? Give me another one.
Orton was involved with Kofi at that time.
Okay, those two are good enough. Those two have been super high on the list. That's good enough by itself. Beating Cena would have been the key to changing a lot of things. So let this be a lesson to all of you that, you know, beating John Cena is not necessarily it's not guaranteed. And if you're hedging your bets or you're banking on future success based on beating John Cena, chances are you're gonna come up short. Everybody can't be Solo.
You can't see him. Everybody can't be Solo.
Everybody can't be Solo.
I really hope Cena was injured before that match, as an excuse to put Solo over. But if he wasn't hurt before that match and got hurt during that match, we may have just seen the first inductee into the 2024 WWE Hall of Fame in John Cena after that loss to Solo Sikoa.
I think we're not so fast, my friend.
No. Nah. Keep in mind, this is a different era.
I get it, but he's not wrestling 52 weeks anymore. So
is Rey Mysterio?
Is Rey Mysterio what?
Wrestling 52 weeks.
No.
And let's see, who else recently? Oh, when is the next time we're going to have a WrestleMania anywhere remotely close to Boston? Because we know we're not going to ever have one in Boston.
Boston. I mean, look, there's no argument that I have that says John Cena would not be a perfect Hall of Fame induction for this year. I'm just not ready to push him into the Hall of Fame because he got hurt.
No. I think that I don't want to give the wrong context. Him being hurt adds ammunition to that gunplay. What I'm thinking is, with the Actors Guild, with the SAG-AFTRA strike finally ending, and him about to go back to work, those insurance policies that were in place beforehand, the same ones that Rock had, will probably supersede anything that he wants to do in WWE until he's done with production. It's bad enough he already had a damn film scrapped, or shelved, not scrapped, shelved. Okay. That was completed. But
hey,
and he already
not his fault.
And he said it himself. When it's time for him to go back to work, he's going to go back to work.
That was always the plan. The only reason that this went any longer than original, because what did they say? It was originally like 7 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
7-8 weeks. So like we were gonna get 2 months of Cena no matter
what. It was another summer of Cena that went into the fall.
That's it. So whether he got hurt at the beginning, the end of summer of Cena, I don't think it changes anything for next April. That's where I'm looking at it from. Like, you knew you were getting 8-9 weeks of Cena. You got 8-9 weeks. You might have got 10 or 12. So you won on the deal. Regardless of how it ended, you were either probably going to see him next April. He was probably going to be there no matter what.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think, yeah, for sure.
But all of a sudden, because there may have been a mishap that has neither been confirmed nor denied, and that be it's time to put him in the Hall. I mean, you could say the same thing about Lesnar if we're doing that. Just anybody who's not wrestling every week and who's got enough tenure under. Same thing. You could say the same thing for Randy Orton.
I think for Lesnar, they're probably going to wait because Minneapolis is probably closer to getting a WrestleMania than people realize. For Orton, I think Nashville is closer to getting WrestleMania than people realize, especially with this new stadium going up in 2026.
I mean,
Nashville is a 3.5-hour drive from St. Louis, and Randy Orton is a native of Knoxville. That's all the more reason to wait till then to do it.
I get what you're doing from a roadmap standpoint, but how many times recently has the headline Hall of Fame inductee just been a dead-on lock because of the venue city?
The last time that happened was Undertaker.
So if we're going by that roadmap logic, it should be Heyman.
Oh, no. This is another conversation. Not if or who. How many ECW talents are going in the Hall of Fame? I'm going to start with New Jack.
nothing would make me feel better.
Especially with me being an hour away from Jen, I would be so happy.
But as I have said numerous times on this show, New Jack, as much as anybody, is responsible for the Attitude Era. We've already come to that understanding. We've accepted that as the consensus.
That's the title that was a missed opportunity. The Godfather, I guess it wouldn't be Godfather because it was Godfather there, but the grandfather of the Attitude Era.
Bing bong. So putting him in the Hall of Fame means you have to acknowledge what he did. To acknowledge what he did means you kind of have to show your hand about where you got a lot of your content from. And somebody's going to have to speak to that point in public. Who do you get to induct him?
Who, New Jack?
Mm-hmm. I can give you a quick. I can give you.
I know one person who I would love to see.
Oh,
but I also want to see him in too. And he's occupied somewhere else, which wouldn't be a problem because he's in the back office or front office rather. D'Lo Brown.
That would be perfect.
I tell you somebody else that you're not expecting me to say.
Oh.
And this only makes sense to us because we know the ramifications of why I'm saying this. Suave Burgundy. And that's not cap.
Oh, it's all what you got. What is it? What you need, baby? I'm recording this video. What is it? No time, I'll be done. Then we'll be on our way to Granny's. Don't have a seat. Close the door, please. Fatherhood, the gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta turn the damn app back on every time wow.
Because we ain't paying for it.
Of course. All right, throw that set up again.
I'll tell you somebody else. And I'm saying this, I'm not like the only reason why people would even know this. Well, actually, they wouldn't know this. But you know why I'm saying this. Pencil pushers don't know why I would say this. But this makes sense to more people than just you and I. Suave Burgundy.
It would never give me a live mic.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't misrepresent the brand at all. But because of the brand, that's why they're not giving me a live microphone. I'm not a flight risk. It's not like a Jim Cornette situation where right. you won't give him a live mic because you're scared of what's gonna come out.
Yo, listen. You want to talk about a moment? That WrestleMania Hall of Fame. I was actually down the street from where you currently reside.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled over to get a Poke Bowl just so I could watch Jim Cornette say, "I'm Jim Cornette. This is a live microphone."
And that was enough. That was worth the price of admission. So I would absolutely not be a flight risk in that situation. I'm gonna be suited and dressed to the nines on my best.
You ain't even gonna ask me how I'm gonna be.
On my best worst behavior. My mama watching. So I'm gonna hit a home run, but that's the problem. I'm gonna hit a home run. As soon as I cross home plate, where am I going? And that means everybody who saw me there is gonna watch. Come on. Stanford doesn't take chances like that.
Let me put in perspective for you, pencil pushers.
I appreciate the nod though.
It wouldn't be on them. They wouldn't ask you. Jen would. And D'Lo would co-sign. So at bare minimum, we would be there.
Now being there, 100%. If Jack's going in, we gonna be there.
So
whether they invite us or not, we're gonna be there because of who just said would invite us.
Check this. I don't know if you know the story about this. Funny, here's a filthy tie-in.
Uh-oh.
Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff.
Uh-huh.
After the Jive deal ended, Fresh Prince became just Will Smith because he was getting fame in Hollywood, silver screen, small screen. His accolades outweighed his rap accomplishments. And so Will Smith was easier to market than the Fresh Prince was by the time he was in his 30s, especially in the mid 90s. Even though it wasn't Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff or Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince anymore, Jazzy Jeff still produced the songs that you know from the crossover success. Every time there was a Grammy nod, even though you didn't see him on camera, Jazzy Jeff was always there. I say that to say this. Anywhere you are with a microphone in hand, I'm usually 20, 30 feet away with a backpack in mind. So it's literally where the gang goes, the gang goes. I ain't gonna say
100% understood. 100% understood on that part. Like we know why in that situation, we not only will we be there, we would be there looking like new money. But with as many people up there that know what we do,
it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. Like we're not getting that. We just not. Unless we have a conversation with somebody in a key position beforehand.
The sad part is we would have to go through a labyrinth, a gauntlet, if you will, of conversation just to get to where we need to be.
Bruh.
It would be worth it, but
it would be, but the whole purpose of having those conversations is to deter you from wanting to do it. It's like they would talk to you about so much red tape that at some point you'd be like, man, I don't even want to do it. And that's what they're banking on.
2 words negate anything they got for us.
Which would be?
It's Jack.
A peek behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we iron stuff out. This is exactly how it would go.
It's just Jack.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But because the best I could probably hope for is to have what I wrote read aloud at the induction.
What I don't like about that is, and that's good, I don't like that because the insiders know that was written. They just don't know it was written by you. The world would finally get to hear this, which is super dope. But it's like going to hear a freestyle and you being able to recite the lyrics word for word, and it's the first time everybody else around you is hearing it.
That's cheating somehow?
I'm not saying it's cheating at all.
Oh,
I just don't.
Heartbeat.
Well, I guess the if you're talking about the totality of the situation, there are far more people who will be there as commoners or in civilian life, if you will, than will be professional wrestlers. So those accolades will be higher and received more graciously than it would coming from the target audience, which is the pro wrestling community itself. I digress. We got one more bit of business before we actually have a little fun and close this thing out.
Indeed.
William Patrick Corgan, the National Wrestling Alliance.
Well, you had one job.
What was at one point heralded as the Major League of Professional Wrestling. We already talked about the 8-figure bag that was allegedly dropped at the behest of a poorly timed cocaine segment, and Suave even tried his best to defend that situation.
Oh, but I got some. we all got some extra information after the fact, and I can't make any explanation that would validate this at
Now,
all.
here is a, how can I put this? A glaring oversight I'm about to read you. But at the same time, it's an oversight that could have been sharply corrected on the road with an 8-figure bag attached. Quote, and this is coming from a report on the interwebs. Actually, it's from House of Wrestling, HAUS.
Okay.
NWA is expected to make cuts in 2024. Quote, the January tapings have already been booked with primarily contracted talent. The talent cuts will likely occur following those tapings in early 2024, when Corgan expects to start contract negotiations. As we previously reported, several NWA talents contracts come up in June of 2024. We were not given an idea of how many talents will be cut or not re-signed, but it was stressed that all contracted talent was under review and their benefits to the company were weighed. Talent without contracts cannot be let go. Some of those working without formal deals will likely not be called for future bookings. Most NWA talent can no longer fly in the day before shows. By doing so, the NWA no longer has to pay extra hotel costs, which they have been footing the bill for up to now. The NWA has been paying for flights and hotels for talent, which is different than the standard WWE deal, which usually only covers flights. Paying for hotels has been considered an incentive for talent to work in NWA to compensate for their low pay compared to more prominent companies. We're told these cuts are coming because Corgan has been funding everything out of pocket for the NWA for years. There has been, quote, little to no sponsorship money coming in, end quote, and has spent millions on Power and NWA reality series. If the promotion wants to continue or wants to keep operating at a level that they are comfortable with, cuts have to be made, end quote. A lot to unpack here.
No, it's pretty cut and dry.
We know that because we don't see any type of like marketing involved with the NWA product. You can't have a sponsor. So you had to have someone with a nice bankroll to be able to supply this. And how high or low these salaries are people able to live on these without actually doing something else, having a side hustle? We don't know. Now, we're not in people's pockets, but we can tell you the amount of people that have come in and out of NWA since 2020 has been high. Some of the people that have belts around their waist, high. Those belts aren't cheap. I don't care who you are. Those belts aren't cheap at all. Ring crew, production crew, camera crew, post-production, venues, live satellite feeds for pay-per-view negotiations, online distribution, like all these things cost bread. And for one person who represents a company of a brand that was virtually on life support, for him to revive it by the money out of his own pocket, it's incredible. But to lose that momentum because you made a very poor decision to glorify drug use in a time where said drug is partially responsible for the highest drug deaths in this country in the history of mankind.
So I'm gonna trim some of this off.
You can't play devil's advocate. You tried that last week. It didn't work
No,
out.
I'm not doing that. No, there will be no repeat of that show this time. All I'm saying is it's not even the drug use, because this is America. Time and place. That's the MO for this entire situation. But you are in negotiations for what was reportedly high money with a network whose content caters to who?
Diehard wrestling fans? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry.
No.
Teens.
Yes, teens. You're promoting drug use, illicit street drug use to teenagers. There is no faster way to get shut down and get your funding pulled than to promote illicit street drug use to teenagers watching the CW. Because teenagers who watch the CW are most likely what?
Probably girls, young women.
And
underaged? Minors?
bing bong.
Just because you're 18 doesn't make you an adult.
And you're usually from you have a certain family structure. There's a certain structure and there's a certain background. If you're getting your content from that one place with any form of regularity,
if I'm going to stereotype the type of family that watches stuff on the CW or the type of children that watch stuff on the CW,
it's not stereotyping, it's just analytics. Go ahead, but that's exactly what I'm asking you to do.
But they're non-single parent homes. These are homes where both parents are there. They're usually banker's hours. Both parents are home at night,
9 to 5.
Yep, Monday through Friday. My office hours are
9 to 5. Dinner's promptly at 7.
And there will be no phones at the table.
Bedtime's at 9:30. Out of there.
Everybody in the household is an Apple user. Not to say that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a thing.
That is my house.
I can keep going on and on, but there's mostly going to be, like I said, young ladies that are watching the shows on it because it's geared towards the more soapy aspect. So you're trying to pull a crowd into this network.
Most of the shows in their content calendar are, very much soap opera-ish.
Historically speaking, we're talking like Xena. We're talking like Buffy.
Seventh Heaven.
Clark and Lois. SmackDown.
And this is like this is
post-Attitude Era.
It's post-Attitude Era. I mean, so you see, like, you got 8 figures on the line and you've been funding everything out of your pocket until the ink is dry on an ironclad contract, which in this day and age, everything has a morality clause in it. You gotta chill, bruh.
The irony is they let Jim Cornette go in a morality clause. Actually, well, I'm sorry, they didn't let him go. He resigned, but still.
Just the public outcry. But yes, this is ridiculously stupid. Like, I can't figure out. I don't get it. I don't see what was gonna come from that was great enough to risk what you risked. Like, we just had this conversation about in a make-believe world, if New Jack was going into the WWE Hall of Fame and by some stroke of a miracle, I was put in a position to be able to deliver anything, even if it's a voiceover of what I wrote. You think I'm about to mess that up for us? Mess that up for me? Mess that up for my legacy, the show's legacy, for our futures, just because I want to tell a joke?
There would not even be a goodbye. The last episode prior to that happening would be our last episode. That's it.
Like, we couldn't get back in this situation and try to talk to each other knowing I had just fumbled the way I fumbled.
Especially knowing that afterwards,
price just went up.
Not only am I getting paid that day, I'm getting paid more every day going forward because you can't pay me what I was getting paid before I went.
In perpetuity.
Bing bong.
Because
for a nominal fee.
Very soon to be.
A phenomenal fee. I will slice off some of this broken pencil knowledge and put it on your plate. And guess what I ain't gonna do before I serve it?
Chop it up and snort it.
Maybe it's just the fact that we don't get to play them type of reindeer games. Like there are other people.
We can.
We can't. See, there are other people who get to play these reindeer games. You get to play chicken with the money. We're not afforded those opportunities. We're not.
We're to the point where we understand the value of not doing that. We can do anything we want to do at this age, at this financial juncture in our lives. Freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to say, but there's consequences to the words you speak.
Absolutely. And I don't know what it is about this particular generation of people who don't understand that. Like, you say what you want. But
Wood season 1, this chair slides back. The person in it stands up.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So even sliding back in the chair and standing up, there's a consequence to that.
I'm expressing myself. I'm telling you something's about to happen, and it's going to be bad for both of us.
But I'm gonna feel better about it than you do.
Much. All right.
Billy, come on, dog.
We can help you.
No, we can't. We can't because you don't have the money to pay us.
He still get quarterly residuals.
No. He probably still has good money coming in from royalties and whatnot, and everything that he's spending on NWA is tax deductible, so he's able to get it back. Let's not act like he's destitute. But if you are not up here functioning to a level to where you understand that securing 8 figures is more important than telling a cocaine joke, you don't have the money to pay us.
And on that note, it's wild. It's time to play a game.
Man, please, let's do it.
Hey, you know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. Say that.
Whoa.
I know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. We say that.
Hey.
That I want. 1, 2, 3. Get your ass out. I want. 1, 2, 3. Get the gone. 1, 2, 3. Get your ass out. I want. 1, 2, 3. Get the gone.
Yeah, man. We got 2 of these back to back. This is sponsored by the CW.
Boy, you are a child. You are a 100% child.
Shouts out to Danger 2, aka JBL.
What up?
He tells us that the beeps as we edit the curses now is whack.
Look. I'm starting to believe him, and I'm really getting where I feel like we'll talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah.
We'll weigh our options here soon. Don't worry about it.
I understand the direction that we chose. I think we fought the wrong battle. It's cool though. I'm not right with the other. AEW Full Gear is happening later on tonight. By the time you hear this, it would have already happened. We still do this anyway because we got to have an excuse to either A, get the pay-per-view, or B, be justified in our choice to not get the pay-per-view. But at least we need to know how we feel about these matches going into them before we talk about the results on the next show.
So what you're saying is how we feel about this pay-per-view card after we play You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win is going to determine whether or not we actually buy the card.
Literally at the 11th hour, 5 minutes before showtime, we're going to have a text thread. It happens every show. You know this.
Yeah, because I was going to ask. I was going, ooh. All right, let's go.
Let's figure this out. Game. All right. So on the 0 hour, which I include that because AEW does do good stuff in the 0 hour. On the 0 hour, we're going to have for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship, your champion, Eddie Kingpin, taking on Jay Lethal. Suave, who ain't going to win.
haven't been keeping up with the progression of
It
things.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the progression. Who ain't gonna win this match?
Jay Lethal ain't gonna win. I don't remember the last time he won anything.
I think this is probably going to be the beginnings of Jay Lethal leaving the organization that he has with Jeff Jarrett. But he ain't gonna win this match.
Can we fast forward that?
Jeff, get back to booking these venues. We can help you with those too. For the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, your champion ROH. Your champion MJF with guest champion Samoa Joe taking on Austin and Colton the Guns.
Oh, so he accepted the peace treaty?
He didn't have a choice. He was getting beat down and served up something awful by Bang Bang Gang.
Pause. Yeah, Gun Club. Yeah, Gun Club ain't winning.
With you on that. And I don't know why this is happening, but I'm glad it is. Match Claudio Castagnoli taking on Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews. Suave ain't gonna win.
Whoever has to follow that. Look, if I there are a few things I'm more confident in. They gonna get active. So yeah.
The winner of this match needs an ROH title shot, or they need to be earmarked to be the number one contender in the tournament to determine the new ROH World Television Champion. My opinion. For the
just more TV time on Wednesday. How about that? Let's wrestle for that. Let's start wrestling for tangible things. Like I want more match time on Wednesday. That's what the winner of this match gets.
Build a better story arc for Collision, because that's where you can get your TV time at for real.
I'm not going back to Collision for quite some time. It's still football season.
I think it'll be sooner than you think. We got playoffs coming up too. Playoffs?
You kidding me? Playoffs? It's a week win a game.
Unless there are more matches added, here we go with the main card. For the AEW World Women's Championship, your champion, Hikaru Shida, taking on Timeless Toni Storm. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
Shida.
It's time. It's time.
It's time for Timeless.
I've never wanted someone to get skyrocketed so much, because there's so much for her on the other side of this door.
You gonna mess around and let that deal expire, and Uncle Tripp's gonna know what to do with old Timeless Toni Storm, because now she has a gimmick.
And a damn good one.
A damn good one.
6-man tag action, and not trios, thank goodness. Sting, Darby out, YFN Darby, Adam Copeland taking on Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne, and Ric Flair will be at ringside. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
You mentioned Ric Flair, and it just completely changed my thought process on this. So what I would love to believe is that this is the Sting retirement tour, and he doesn't take any losses at all.
I don't think he's been pinned in AEW.
I mean, did he really need to? Did he need to be?
I'll do you one better. If there's ever a time to pin him, it would be in this match. However, I don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen, and what I would like to see happen, is Christian Cage tell Adam Copeland that he ain't winning.
I would love to see Ric Flair turn on Sting right here, and then we start this whole march towards March.
March towards March.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Did you see Tony Schiavone said he wanted Surfer Sting back for the last match?
No, but I can see it.
Bro, if Sting starts training like physique training now, and is ready for March and comes out as Surfer Sting,
you're gonna pop. You're gonna get your blue and gold face paint.
I'm probably gonna have a moment. Probably gonna have a brief moment where, like, damn, I was here for the whole thing.
Childhood.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. But
yo, wouldn't that be something if we saw Power Team USA Sting, Blade Runner Sting, Surfer Sting, black hair Surfer Paint Sting, Crow Sting,
Joker Sting,
Wolfpack Sting,
Tomato Sting, Tomato Face Sting,
Muda Sting. That's what that was Muda Sting. Joker Sting, main event Mafia Sting. If we could get 9 matches between, because that's basically 9 different things. If we can get 9 matches between now and March, and the last match culminates with Surfer Sting, man, I think that would be the perfect way to cap a career off.
I agree. This is usually where I expect Tony Khan to shine, in instances where you can create cool fan moments. But again, as we have kind of we've volleyed back and forth ad nauseum, he is spread so thin across all of these different things that he has got his hands into that quality control often suffers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a possibility that this victory lap tour for Sting doesn't go the way real Sting fans may want it to, which is why I'm like, okay, if we get the Surfer Sting on the way out, that might be as good as it gets, because having Ric Flair around, it's cool and entertaining, but not for the reasons they think it is.
Right. Matter of fact, yeah.
It is just not for the reasons you think.
Yeah, that bloom is off the rose, but yeah, it's one of those things where you just watch and wait.
Yeah, that's where we at with it. We watching and we waiting.
So who ain't gonna win?
I'm gonna go
Four Generations or the Patriarchy?
Wait, Team 4G. Yeah, Team 4G.
Team 4G ain't gonna win. Yeah, I'm gonna say Team 4G ain't gonna win too. But Sting ain't taking the pin. For the AEW International Championship, number 3, your champion Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
My tolerance.
This is one match where I just wish
it would
Orange
be over.
Cassidy helps it end very, very quickly. And he's the one that ain't gonna win.
You getting at least 20 out of this. At least.
Well, it's only gonna be, it's an international champ. It might have an hour time limit. Good Lord. All right.
Just nothing.
We need to have a conversation about this title. Not the next episode, but probably like 1 or 2 episodes from now, sometime before the holiday. We need to have a conversation about the AEW International Championship. I got a really good talk track for you on that one.
Did you say conversation or consolidation? Because that's probably what should happen. They should consolidate this with the title.
Save it.
Get some of this stuff out the way.
Save it. You save it, sir.
There's nothing else to say.
Texas.
I don't want another
match.
international champion at all. What? Neither one of these people are from Texas.
Texas death match. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. Suave ain't gonna win.
I'm picking Hangman Page not to win, but I know better.
Nah, I don't think he winning either. He can't win. He's proving himself in this whole back and forth. He ain't G enough to handle something real. This man was at work in the ring while Swerve and Prince Nana was allegedly in his house.
Pulling a B&E.
A full-blown B&E. And all he's worried about,
wife and child home.
All he's worried about is the ability or the inability to put hands on Swerve because it makes an indefinite suspension and a match being called off at a pay-per-view. So you beat the brakes off of Prince Nana because he was there?
He's the one you could. It's like, again, what I just say, quality control. This whole story post Wrestle Dream, the quality control just swerved off the road. No pun intended.
Here's what should have happened. The suspension stipulation should have been put in place. Somebody, in this case, Hangman Page, should have gone right at Swerve the first time Swerve opened his mouth, instead of Hangman snatching the microphone from Tony Schiavone, making Tony Schiavone like look at him like, why are you here? Hangman should have socked Swerve in the mouth and kept beating Swerve until the match became the loser of this match is suspended. Like he gets suspended for putting hands on him. He gets fined, but he keeps the beat down going because dude broke into his house while his wife and child were at home. And if you want me to stop this, you're going to reinstate me right now. The match is going to happen, and the loser of this match is suspended to the end of the year. That's how you solve that problem. That's how you make Adam Page more credible. Not let him talk smacking and beat down Prince Nana. And then you had the nerve. You had the nerve to talk about how Prince Nana buys weed from high school kids and steals it. Like that's the best you got. I hope you don't win, Adam Page. You don't deserve to win.
Where do I
explain all that?
Where do I start? First, quality control went off the rails as soon as you did the B&E angle. We didn't need to go that far because in real life, there's no coming back from that. That's usually followed by the sounds of inanimate objects becoming animate.
Cigars can't fix it for me. Wings can't fix it for you.
Nope. So how I would have fixed it, since you gave a scenario on how to make Hangman credible. I don't care about making Hangman credible because every time he gets into a situation where there's some money on the line, whether literally or figuratively, he finds a way to F it up or go into business for himself or whatever the case. But we could have done something simple where Swerve destroyed a brand new truck. Here's because we've had brand new cars on Dynamite before back in the early days. Remember the Shelby 500 Shelby that Moxley had. Bring a brand new F-150 out. I mean, just a laid version, and have Swerve completely just deface it, slash all 4 tires, bust the windows out, spray paint it. That's Hangman's new truck. Cool. It's cowboy-ish, so that's something that should make him upset. So now you have something to fight about. Because Hangman's initial reaction to the B&E was to come out and give some of the most iffy chair shots I've seen in a long time. And had I not seen Kota Ibushi swing a pipe this week, it would have been some of the worst stuff I've seen in quite some time.
Didn't we get a GIMP mask post B&E?
I don't know.
I would call a leather GIMP mask causing a loss for Swerve on an episode of Dynamite.
It's quite possible. I'm loosely paying attention to some of this stuff now because it's like, hey, if I pay too much attention, I'm going to be too critical.
We're already giving too much energy to this match. Hangman Page ain't winning this match. And who you got not winning this match?
Look, I'm not choosing Hangman Page to do anything other than lose.
All right, that's all I need. Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho taking on Nick and Mac Jackson, the Young Bucks. Who ain't gonna win? Oh, and the stipulation is, if the Golden Jets lose, they must disband. They will never tag again.
They've only been a team 6 weeks.
And if the Young Bucks win, then they get an AEW World Tag Team title match
that they already have. The feelings of everyone who's really concerned about elite business, that's who's not going to win. It's too much.
Nick and Mac Jackson ain't winning either at home. They're not going to win.
There you go.
For the AEW TBS Championship, the Jade Cargill title, their champion Chris Statlander taking on Julia Hart, taking on Sky Blue in a 3-way. Suave, who ain't going to win?
Anybody not named Statlander.
Thanks for playing.
This does not bode well for us buying this pay-per-view.
For the AEW World Tag Team Championship, a 4-way tag team ladder match. Your champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, taking on La Facion and Gobernables, Rush and Dralistico, FTR, Uncle Dex, Cash Wheeler, And Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King. Hold on a second, Suave.
Yeah, digest it. Pause.
Who ain't gonna win?
I'm gonna take FT. I'm gonna take anybody not named FTR. I think they figured out Cash's legal situation, and now we finna get back to business.
I think anybody not named your current and still champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill.
Also, the EMTs, they ain't gonna win.
Brody King still has a cast on for what we don't know. Roosh and Jarlistico, Luchadors, great. Ladder match, cool. Somebody getting hurt. I don't want that to happen.
This doesn't need to be a ladder match. What is the purpose of it being a ladder match? So that somebody doesn't take a pinfall?
You got to protect somebody somehow, some way. That's all this match is for.
You know how you protect them? You keep them out of a ladder match. And
out of a ladder match with 6 other people.
That's how you protect them.
Yeah. And then finally, for the AEW World Championship, your champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, taking on Switchblade Jay White. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
Jay White. I don't want to see him do anything else.
Jay White has already proven himself to not be able to carry a microphone. The last thing he needs to do is carry an American World title. And that's how you play who ain't gonna win. Show at BrokenPencilBC.com, BrokenPencilBC@gmail.com. That's at BrokenPencilBC on all things social. As you can see right here, Broken Pencil BC on what?
Everything.
Suave, take him to the house. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Pencil pushers. Like, rate, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Then tell that friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend again. Heads up. Pencils down.
Yep. That's how I go.
Worst show we've ever done. Worst show ever.
Money
I'm
goes
I'm bringing that back for 24.
The quality gets worse. The money goes up. This is what happens. I'm still wearing a shirt from season 1. What's wrong with me?
We ain't making enough money around here.